Hello guys and welcome to the video. DICE have just released a trailer showing the remaining 5 specialists and we're going to take a look at it now. Then afterwards we'll have a look at the blog post that they released addressing the changes they're making to the game. Right, so up first we have Narvin Rao, I do hope I'm saying that right, who falls into the Recon class and has the Trojan Network trait, so his focus is going to be around hacking and that sort of thing. As you can see in the gameplay, he kills a hacked enemy, revealing the locations of the enemies in the close proximity with a red glow. And it does seem to work for enemies who are behind cover. After that, he hacks into the bollards. It looks like he raises them up just in time to stop a car and blow it up. Up next, we've got Espinoza, who falls under the assault category. His trait is blast resistant, so he seems to take less damage from grenades and recovers from the damage quicker. He also has a riot shield that can block projectiles, and if you watch closely, he does get a kill here by deflecting bullets back at an enemy, which I can see as being the most annoying thing in cluster situations possible. Here we have Sundance, who is another assault, and who we've also seen before in trailers. Her trait is her wingsuit, which, as you'll see here, looks fantastic fun. I can see this being extremely popular with everybody, because that's just so epic. Her speciality, as we'll see here in a sec, is smart explosives. She has the choice of 3 grenades, those being anti-armor, EMP and scatter. And it appears that from this absolutely epic Kobe, the grenades have sort of an auto-locking system that guide themselves towards an enemy vehicle, as we had with something like the MBT law from Battlefield 4. Carrying on, we have Jisoo Pike, who is a recon class, and in my opinion the most controversial of these. She has the trait of threat perception, that means any enemies who deal damage to you glow like the sun, but what's worse is her speciality. It's called the EMG scanner, and it's essentially a temporary wall hack. As you can see, slaying people out who are behind cover, knowing where everyone is, it does not look good for the game. And finally, we've got Angel. Angel is a support class who has the trauma specialist trait, meaning he can revive his teammates faster, and in doing so restores their armor. You also just saw him using some sort of burst rifle that we didn't see in the beta, but unfortunately it doesn't look too great. His speciality means he can also call in a loadout crate from which you and your team can replenish armor, ammo, and even change your loadout, as we'll see in a sec, to a preset you've got. Here we can see him switching to a sniper type, and he uses it to pop the head off that guy in the distance. And that covers it for the trailer for the 5 specialists. Now we're going to take a look at the blog post that DICE released outlining the changes that they're going to make to the game before launch. Okay, so first we have some things that you may or may not already know as they were tweeted by devs, and I know Jack Frags made a video about. They've doubled the number of tanks from 4 to 8 for those on next gen or PC. For movement, you can now slide sideways and vault over moving objects, and jump spamming has been nerfed. Grenade indicators are back, thank god. Entry animations and exit animations for vehicles have been shortened or removed, and elevators have been fixed. Then there's a little bit about the beta performance with bugs and that sort of thing, and just them explaining that they divert the branches of game build, so of course they'll have fixed a lot of the bugs, and then a little bit about server performance, but that's not too important here. What is important, however, is the UI. Everyone, myself included, had huge complaints about the UI in the beta, but it seems like DICE has taken some big steps in the right direction in this regard. Firstly, they've confirmed that the big map is back in the game, and as you can see on the screen, that's what it looks like. I like it, it looks clean, and it's going to make traversing the map and knowing which objective to go so much better than in the beta. Up next, we have the ever-missed quick chat system, or as DICE calls it, the Comoro system. You've got your usual messages, thank you, need healing, need ammo, all of that sort of thing. As a squad leader here, you can tell your team which objectives to attack. You also have some commands at the bottom if you look closely. For your robot dog, you can give him orders here, or tell him to self-destruct, which is a tad morbid. Blissfully, we have a complete rework of the HUD, and I must say, good job DICE. It seems you can now actually tell when you or your squad have killed someone, and the points you're getting for doing so. We now have a kill indicator alongside your weapon and XP for it at the centre of your screen, while your squad mate's kill feed is off on the left hand side. We also now get a clear indication of objective captures and the points to go with that, but unfortunately we still don't get info on how much damage each hit is doing to a vehicle, which is something I'd have hoped they'd added. Now here's a bit of the blog post that I really don't like. Essentially, it's very wordy, but DICE has said they hear our complaints about the specialists and the lack of the classic 4 battlefield classes, and they don't care. The blog post does state that we should expect to have a very limited number of gadgets, like in the beta for the first 4 to 6 hours, but unlock more gadgets after that. It does seem like specialists can carry whatever gadgets they want, so expect to be carrying on running around knowing exactly nothing about who is carrying what. So DICE have clearly just taken our complaints and throw them in the bin. It is now confirmed that we can customize our classes and weapons from the main menu, and here we can see what that's going to be like with the plus system. I must say I love the fact that the stats for weapons are numerical, and attachments clearly affect the balance of the weapon in a numerical way. Let's just hope that the numbers displayed for the different attachments are true reflections of what they do. After that, there's a little note on some UI changes for Hazard Zone, but I'm going to focus on what we can see here, and that's the end of Round Scoreboard. In the beta, we had no way of knowing how we fared up against the rest of the server in terms of kills, objectives, that sort of thing. So I'm glad that DICE has addressed this and added this end of match screen where your best attribute is displayed in this cool cutscene. And finally, we have some visibility changes. DICE has addressed the poor lighting in some conditions where players would blend into the background, and they've also added a tint to enemy soldiers and an icon above their heads within 10 meters so that it's easier to identify who is friend and who is foe. Finally, DICE have stated that not all of these changes are going to be ready on November 12th, which is the early access release, which I will be playing, so stick around for that, but they will be ready for November 19th when the full game launches. This was a very wordy video, not my usual style, but I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know what you think about these changes in the comments below. Drop a like if you liked, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya.